Hello friends and welcome to my channel Angrezi Sahitya. Today we are going to talk about a very special novel called Funny Boy written by Shyam Selvadurai. Friends, Shyam Selvadurai is a writer who was born in Sri Lanka but later moved to Canada. So he brings both cultures into his writing. This novel is based in Sri Lanka, mostly in the city of Colombo, and it gives us a look into the life of a boy growing up during a very difficult time in the country. The main character is a young Tamil boy named Arjie Chelvaratnam. Arjie is different from other boys. He doesn't enjoy the things most boys are expected to like. He is sensitive, creative, and slowly realizes he is a gay, which is not accepted by many people around him. Through Arjie's eyes, we get to see how hard it can be to be different in a world that expects you to be the same as everyone else. Friends, the novel also shows the ethnic tension between two major groups in Sri Lanka, the Sinhalese, that is the majority group, and the Tamils, the minority group Archie belongs to. This conflict causes fear, violence, and even war. Archie's family is Tamil, so they are often treated unfairly or face danger simply because of their identity. The book is divided into six chapters, and each chapter shows us a new part of Archie's journey. As he grows up, he learns more about himself, his family, love, and the world around him. It's a story about discovering who you really are, even when others don't understand or accept it. And that's why this novel is so powerful and meaningful. So, friends, let's begin our journey into Funny Boy with the very first chapter, Pigs Can't Fly. Friends, this chapter gives us a look into Arjie's world when he is still a small boy full of imagination, innocence, and dreams. Arjie is not like the other boys in his family. While his male cousins are running outside, climbing trees, and playing cricket, Arjie loves something completely different, a game called Bride Bride that he plays with his girl's cousin Sonali, Arani, and Mala auntie's daughter Nalini. Friends, in this game, they pretended to have a wedding, and Arjie always wanted to be the bride. He loves wearing a shiny sari, walking slowly with grace, putting on powder, and dreaming of a magical wedding. But then something goes wrong. One day, while Arjie is playing Bride Bride and dressed up as the bride, his cousin sees him and is completely shocked. He doesn't like it at all. He tells Arjie that this is not what boys are supposed to do. He refuses to let Arjie be part of the fun anymore. Just then, one of Arjie's uncles walks in and sees him in full wedding costume, wearing a sari and pretending to get married. Instead of understanding, this uncle laughs loudly and says something that changes everything. You are a funny boy. That word funny boy stays with Arjie. It's not a joke, it makes him feel embarrassed, exposed, and very different from everyone else. Soon after, there is more trouble. Arjie gets into a small fight with one of his girl cousins who starts teasing him. And that's when Ammachi, Arjie's strict and serious grandmother, walks in. She scolds Arjie harshly, not just for fighting, but for playing this shameful game. She says boys should have behaved like that. Arjie feels ashamed and confused. Why is he being punished for something that made him happy? Things get even harder when Arjie's father, Appa, finds out. Appa is very upset. He believes that boys must be manly and strong. He says Arjie can't play with the girls anymore. Instead, Arjie must go outside and play cricket with the boys. But Arjie doesn't like cricket. The other boys don't talk to him properly and he feels out of place, like he's in a world where he doesn't belong. But in all of this, there is one gentle light, Arjie's mother, Amma. She doesn't yell, she doesn't shame him. Amma understands Arjie more than anyone else. Even though she doesn't say much, her silence is full of love. She supports him quietly, and for Arjie, that means a lot. So, friends, in this part of the story, we meet someone very special to Arjie, that is Radha Auntie. This chapter is full of emotions and shows up how love, family, and culture can sometimes create pain. Radha Aunty is one of Arjie's favorite people in the family. She returns to Sri Lanka after studying in America, and Arjie is really excited to spend time with her. She is kind, playful, and treats Arjie with respect, not judging him like some of the others do. To Arjie, Radha Aunty feels like a safe space, someone who truly understands him. But very soon, Arjie sees a sad and difficult situation unfold in her life. Radha Aunty falls in love with a Sinhalese boy named Anil. They are truly happy together, but the problem is Radha comes from a Tamil family and Anil is Sinhalese. At this time, in Sri Lanka, there were serious tensions and violence between the Tamil and Sinhalese communities. So, even though Anil is a good person, Radha's family, especially Ammachi, Arjie's grandmother, is strongly disapprove of their relationship. Friends, Ammachi plays a big role in this chapter. She is traditional, powerful in the family, and very concerned about what the neighbors and society will say. She believes Radha marrying a Sinhalese man would bring shame to the family. Ammachi pressures Radha, reminding her of her duty to the family and culture. Eventually, the whole family joins in, and Radha feels trapped between her love for Anil and her responsibility to her family. In the end, Radha is forced to break off her relationship with Anil. Her heart is broken and Arjun is deeply hurt too. Not just for Radha, but because he begins to see how unfair the world can be. This is the first time Arjun sees how love can be controlled by things like race, religion, and family expectations. Friends, the next chapter is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. In this chapter, we meet someone new, that is Daryl Uncle, a family friend who comes to visit Arjie's family. Friends, he is a foreign journalist and many years ago he was very close to Arjie's mother. When he comes back, they reconnect and spend a lot of time talking, which makes Arjie curious and a bit confused about their past. Friends, Daryl Uncle is not just here for a friendly visit, he is in Sri Lanka to investigate something very serious. That is, violence against Tamil people by the government and the army. He wants to find out the truth and tell the world what is really happening. Arjit starts to admire him for being brave and kind, and he enjoys having him around. But suddenly, Daryl uncle disappears without any warning. No one knows where he went, and the adults act strange about him. Arjit and his mother both feel that something bad has happened to him because of what he was trying to do. They don't say it directly, but the fear is clear. This is the first time Arjun really sees how dangerous it can be to speak the truth, especially in a place where the government is trying to hide the truth. Even though people know something is wrong, they are too afraid to talk about it. They choose to stay silent just to be safe. Friends, the next chapter is Small Choices. In this chapter, Arjun begins a new chapter of his life. He joins a new school called Victoria Academy. It is a big change for him. But that's not the only big thing happening. Something very important also happens at home. Arjie's father hires a young Tamil man named Jagan to work in his business. Friends, now Jagan is not just any worker. He used to be a part of Tamil militant group, that means a group fighting for Tamil rights in Sri Lanka, sometimes using violence. The group name is LTTE. But Jagan has left that life behind. He doesn't want to fight anymore. He wants peace. He is now a kind, calm, and hardworking person trying to live a normal life. But sadly, people around Jagan don't believe in him. They think he is still dangerous just because he is a Tamil and because of his past. Even though Jagan does nothing wrong, people begin to judge him, avoid him, and talk badly about him. This really shocks Arjie. He starts to see how unfair the world is, how people can be hated for their identity, not their actions. Arjie's father likes Jagan and tries to stand by him, which shows us that he doesn't have a sense of justice. But soon the father starts to feel pressure from others, his friends, his business partners, and the people around him. Supporting Jagan becomes a risk. Slowly, Even Arjie's father starts to feel confused and he should do what right or what's wrong, what say. Through all this, Arjie watches and learns. He realizes that the ethnic conflict between Sinhalese and Tamils is not just something in the news. It's happening right inside his own home. People are scared, angry, and divided. And even small choices like giving someone a job or treating them with respect can become dangerous. Friends, the next chapter is The Best School of All. In this part of the story, Arjit is still studying at his new school, Victoria Academy. Here, something very special happens in his life. Arjit starts getting closer to a boy named Sehan. At first, they are just schoolmates. They spend time together, share books, talk, and enjoy each other's company. But slowly, their friendship starts to become deeper and more emotional. Arjit begins to feel new feelings that are different from anything he's felt before. Friends, as Arjit spends more time with Sehan, he begins to understand something big. He is attracted to boys. This means Arjit is starting to understand that he is a gay. This is a major turning point in his life. On one hand, Arjit feels more connected to his true self. He feels happy and safe when he's around Sehan. But on the other hand, he also feels confused, scared, and unsure because he knows his family and society may not accept him for who he really is. Friends, this makes him feel very alone inside, even though he's learning to accept himself. At the same time, something else is going on at his school. Arjie finds out that the principal of Victoria Academy, Mr. Loko Bundra, who is secretly called Black Tie by the students, is not as good as people think. From the outside, he looks serious, well dressed, and respectable, but on the inside, he is corrupt and abusive. He uses his power in unfair ways. He punishes his students who doesn't obey him, and he lets his favorite get away with anything. Arjie realizes that his school, which is supposed to be the best, is actually full of lies, fear, and injustice. Even though Arjit is still young and scared, he starts to grow braver with Sihan's support. Arjit finds the courage to stand up against Mr. Black Tie. This is a really bold step for him. Speaking up against a powerful adult, especially a principal, is not easy. But Arjit understands that if no one says anything, then the wrong things will just continue. He knows now that being brave means standing up for what's right, even if your voice shakes. Hey friends, now we have come to the final chapter of Funny Boy, and it's the most serious and emotional part of this story. In this chapter, the situation in Sri Lanka becomes very dangerous. The tension between the Sinhalese and Tamil people turns into full violence. Arjit's family, who are Tamil, are suddenly no longer safe. As time passes, ethnic tension between the Sinhalese and Tamil people in Sri Lanka gets worse and worse. The government and military start targeting Tamil families and violence spreads across the country. Arjit's family, who are Tamil, begin to feel very unsafe. People are scared. Tamil homes are being burned and people are being attacked or even killed just because of their identity. Then comes a very dark time in Sri Lanka's history, Black July in 1983. During this time, riots break out and many Tamil families are attacked by violent mobs. Arjie's family also becomes a target of this hatred. One terrible day, Radha auntie is attacked on a train by a group of men. She is physically hurt and emotionally broken. The family is shocked and terrified after this. It becomes clear that they are no longer safe in their own country. In the middle of this chaos, Arjie's grandmother Ammachi and grandfather Apache die. Their deaths add more sadness to the family's already broken heart. Everything that once felt like home is now falling apart. Arjie watches all of this and realizes the world around him is changing forever. With violence all around them and no hope of peace, Arjie's father decides that the family must leave Sri Lanka. The only way to survive is to escape. So the family begins making plans to move to Canada to start a new life where they can live in peace and safety. But this decision is not easy. Arjie must leave behind everything he knows, his house, his school, and even Sihan, his first love. Friends, Even though Arjit is still young, this moment forces him to grow up very fast. He begins to see how cruel the world can be, especially to people who are different. His journey of self discovery is interrupted by war and hatred, and that leaves a deep mark on him. The chapter and the novel ends with Archie becoming more mature and aware, but also carrying sadness and loss. He has learned a lot about identity, love, and injustice, but at a great cost. He is no longer just a funny boy. He is now someone who understands the real struggles of life. So, friends, now that we have gone through Arjie's journey, let's talk about what this story really teaches us. At its heart, Funny Boy is about finding out who you truly are, even when the world doesn't accept you. Arjie learns that it's okay to be different, and even though it's not always easy, being true to yourself is something powerful and brave. The novel also shows us the problem with strict rules, like how boys and girls are expected to behave a certain way, or how families push their children to follow tradition, even when it makes them unhappy. Arjie's story reminds us that everyone should have the freedom to choose their path, whether it's about love, life, or identity. We also see how love can be blocked by things like race, religion, and sexuality. Rana Auntie can't marry who she loves. Arjie feels afraid to love Sihan. These stories show how unfair society can be and how it often judges people just for being themselves. And finally, this book gives us a powerful look at the ethnic violence in Sri Lanka, how Tamil families like Arjie's were treated with fear and hatred. So, Funny Boy is both a personal story about growing up and a political one about a country in pain. It shows us how personal and national struggles can mix together and how young people like Arjie are often caught in between. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more literary stories made easy. See you in the next video.